maybe in the chat. Again, for those who joined a bit later, if your name is not the correct one in Zoom, you can rename yourself by hovering over your name and clicking on more and then clicking on rename, so that we can see your full name and have a discussion later in the Q&A question session. You can put your questions in the chat. We have somebody who will track the questions and we can answer them later. So I'm excited to see you all today here. We're here because we want to essentially have a conversation about the Ecolabel and SMEs, talk to SMEs who have been certified with Ecolabel, and maybe CEnTOUR's SMEs will hear and get inspired by the experience. We have, again, an agenda today that I think is quite interesting and will give you a holistic image of Ecolabel. I would say a few words about CEnTOUR for our guest as well, and then I will introduce our guests and make a note of the agenda, and then we can officially start. So CEnTOUR is a project that runs from September, has been running from September 2020 and will continue to run till 2023. It is funded by COSME, the European program that implements capacity building and the support scheme for small and medium enterprises. So in CEnTOUR, there are 5 European countries participating, and through CEnTOUR, there is training to lead them to different levels of circular economy within a transition system. The objective of CEnTOUR is really to support SMEs in the development and the implementation of their circular businesses. So we're hoping that also the webinars and the conferences like the one today are going to help all of you to reach a level of circularity that is needed. So today, there's going to be 3 main parts, let's say. We're going to have a listen to Silvia Ferratini, who is here with us. She's an EU Ecolabel coordinator, and she will talk about the Ecolabel system and how this benefits tourism SMEs, so all of you joining us. Then we will talk with Sabina Manchini from Casale Romano. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your surname. Casale Romano has been Ecolabel certified, so I think that's important. Sabina will share their experience, and then we will have a listen to Valentina Castellani, our own Valentina Castellani, who is an Ecolabel consultant from Project Arcadia. So yeah, then in the end, after these 3 presentations, we'll have a Q&A question and answer session. So if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat, but there will be for sure time to discuss. Thank you so much. I will mute myself and we can commence with the rest of the program.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm Elena Gentilini. I also work for the CEnTOUR project. I will briefly introduce the speakers, and we will manage the chat. Actually, the first speaker, Mrs. Silvia Ferratini, will leave us 11:15. So please, while she is introducing her speech, you can use the chat for any question, and we will have like a brief Q&A session right after her speech, so she can reply before leaving. Obviously, it's a really good chance to have a direct contact with the EU Ecolabel Commission office. So please make good use of it, and we really invite you to speak your mouth and ask whatever is in your mind, because our aim is to highlight the importance of the EU Ecolabel certification especially for tourism, especially in this post-COVID recovery phase. We really believe that it's important now to have a set of tools and instruments that help tourism SMEs to gain markets again and to be visible in a proper way. And there is a renowned interest for sustainable tourism, so it's important that we take this chance. Just a few words about Silvia Ferratini. She's working at the EU Ecolabel Coordinating Office at the European Commission, and recently her and her team efforts are exactly in promoting the EU Ecolabel among e-retailers and also the tourism sector. After studies in environmental sciences, she worked for the Italian Ministry of the Environment and for the United Nations of the Environment Program, where she coordinated a 5-year technical assistance and capacity building project exactly at promoting eco-labeling in developing countries. As introduced by Daphne, she will give us insight on the EU eco-label system tailored to the tourism sector. So I'm really happy to give the floor to Mrs. Silvia Ferratini. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Elena, and thank you, Daphne. I'm going to share my presentation so that you can see
Yes.
it. Do you see it? Yes.
Yeah, it's uploaded. Thank you. It's okay.
I have it in another screen, but it's okay. Yes. Okay. Well. So, yeah, the introduction has already been done, so I pass directly into the subject. A brief few lines of with context. As Elena was reminding, we can say that the COVID-19 has exposed the fragility of our current economic system and affected enormously the tourism sector. The restart of the economy is a chance to redesign our growth system towards a different model, a model that is more sustainable, more resilient, more rich in job, the model that is offered by a circular economy, a neutral circular economy. In 2020, just before the COVID crisis, the Commission has published a circular economy plan that is setting a vision and several actions to change the way Europe produces and consumes, making sustainable goods and services the norms and empowering consumers. And at the same time, also the EU industrial strategy specifically the tourism transition pathway that has been published here, that is paving the way to a new agenda for tourism 2030 and 2050, has highlighted the need to accelerate the green and digital transition for the EU industry and its ecosystems, and specifically on tourism. So in the European Union, we have several tools that can be used in order to foster the sector towards this transition. We have the EU Ecolabel. That is what we are talking about today. That is the EU Ecolabel this is the EU label of environmental excellence, and I will explain you everything later about it. But we have also other tools like the EU Eco Management and Audit Scheme, EMAS, that is a premium management instrument developed by the European Commission for companies, but also other organizations committed to evaluate, report, and improve their environmental performance. So different kind of organization that can commit to improve their environmental performance. And also we have the environmental footprint methods that enable companies to measure and communicate their environmental performance and thereby compete on the market based on a reliable environmental information. As I said, today I'm focusing my presentation on the EU Ecolabel. You probably know it's the official European Union voluntary label for environmental excellence, and it is guiding consumers, but also procurers, so public buyers, but businesses towards sustainable goods and services. It is the only EU-wide ISO 14024 Type 1 Ecolabel. What does it mean? First of all, it's EU-wide used, so it's recognized by all the consumers in Europe. It is a reliable label, and the criteria setting is open to all interest parties. It's carried out in a transparent way, and science-based criteria setting. Usually it's a process that is lasting at least 2 or 3 years, in which really all the impact on the life cycle of a product and a service are considered, and the criteria are set in order to minimize all the main important impacts. And what is very important is also it's a label that is third-party verified. In the case of the Ecolabel, we have competent bodies in every European Union country that are really verifying if a product and service that would like to get the Ecolabel is complying with the criteria. The Ecolabel can be awarded to products and services for which criteria have been established. And for the moment, we have 24 product groups that are very different, because we are ranging from detergents to textiles to paper, but we are also covering services like tourist accommodation and, for instance, also cleaning services. So the criteria are set in order to address the 10–20% of best goods and services on the market in terms of environmental performance. This means that it's a label for the best in class. So it's they say in French, la crème de la crème. So it's a label that wants really to distinguish the best services and products on the market within a certain category. And the criteria are also guaranteeing high quality product, and social aspects are addressed when appropriate. So the Ecolabel criteria for tourist accommodation specifically are set in a commission decision that is valid until the end, until June 2025. And the prerequisite for getting the Ecolabel for tourist accommodation is that the services shall meet all respective legal requirements of the country in which the tourist accommodation is located, including the obligation for staff to be legally employed and insured. So we have a social, let's say, prerequisite. And then the criteria are composed of 22 mandatory criteria plus 45 optional criteria with a point systems. And this is because we understand that the tourist accommodation are very different. We have small bed and breakfast, we have large 5-star hotels with swimming pool and so on. So the criteria leave a sort of flexibility in the way someone wants to reach the environmental excellence. And the criteria are clustered in several areas that are general management, energy, water, waste, wastewater, and others. To give you a brief overview, I've listed here all the main mandatory criteria. I'm not going through it, but this slide then can be distributed to our participants so that they can have in mind and have a better idea what the Ecolabel covers. Like for general management, it's called, it's asked for an environmental management system, for staff training, information given to guests, and so on. We have energy criteria relating to energy efficient space heating and water heating appliances. We have energy efficient air conditioning and air-based heat pumps appliances. We have energy efficient lighting and so on. We have on water, on wastewater treatment, and other criteria. In a nutshell, what does the Ecolabel guarantees for a tourist accommodations? First of all, it guarantees an optimized environmental management of the tourist accommodation. It also guarantees reduced energy consumptions and CO2 emissions through energy savings, use of efficient devices, and of renewable energy sources. It guarantees also reduced water consumption, reduce use of chemicals as well as of pesticides, reduce waste generation and optimize waste management, reduce emission from transport, and limitation of food waste. So in a certain way, we can see that the Ecolabel is connecting citizens, but also the market actors, to the overall political objective of the circular economy, the climate neutrality, and the zero pollution. So it's a tool that can make everybody contribute in a very proactive way to the broad political objective of our time. So the citizens are empowered to the Ecolabel to choose an accommodation that is committed to contribute to these goals, and at the same time, by choosing this accommodation, they can be part of the green transition as well. So why we are also really putting the effort of promoting Ecolabel for tourist accommodation. With all this background, we think that the time has now come to promote tourism differently, because quality and environment matter, in the sense that we see the tourists and also business travelers are increasingly looking for quality accommodations that care for the environment. So citizens are really trying to now wanted to choose which are the best ones in terms of environmental performance. And the Ecolabel is a tour for tourist accommodation and campsite services to engage in a sustainable recovery together with their staff or their customers. Of course, it's something that cannot be done alone, but already training the staff and explaining what the efforts that the tourist accommodation is doing, as well of explaining it to the customers that are choosing this accommodation, creates also a sense of loyalty and engagement. And so the Ecolabel is a way to offer eco-friendly and high-quality alternative to conventional hotels and campsites. And we should not forget that environmental excellence means also excellent savings. So for the Ecolabel accommodation, you will ask who can apply. And you can apply, it's not only for tourist accommodations that are located in the European Economic Area, so the EU countries, then Iceland, Liechtenstein, and this on the European market. And coming back to the savings, this is a slide that I stole from our one of our ambassadors, like Sabine, that you will listen later, is one of the tourist accommodation that was awarded with the Ecolabels a long time ago, and has kept the Ecolabel certification for a long time, and with his permission, of course. And so the director of the Camping Blue Ocean and Green Resort was saying that through the Ecolabel, in 11 years, he was able to save more than 80,000 euros in water, also in electricity. It was every 8 years, he had one free year of electricity. And also it was sparing the equivalent of the weight of 7 empty aircraft, 7 A320 empty aircraft or 2 Boeings, corresponding to a saving in tax on waste to 70,000 euro. Of course, these estimations are based on 2060 prices. So really, savings, environmental excellence bring also economic savings. And this, I think, is a message that is very important now, especially also due to the COVID crisis, but also the crisis on energy that we are facing, energy prices that we are facing. Now, how to apply for the Ecolabel? We have a website, of course, that is explaining step by step how to apply, but in a nutshell, there are 7 steps. The first of which is to contact the Ecolabel competent body of reference. That can be for the European Union, so for the tourist accommodation localized in the European Union countries, is the country where the the service is located. Otherwise, if it is a tourist accommodation for a non-European country, is a competent body of one of the country in which the tourist accommodation is then marketed or promoted. Then the tourist accommodation has to register in ICCAT. ICCAT is our online catalog, and this is very important because it allows after that to take part in the marketing activities of the Commission that we are going to explain later. There is a preparation of dossier that can be compiled with the help of a user manual that is available online. The application has to be submitted, and the application, there is a fee for applying to the Ecolabel, and there can be an annual fee. I will explain it just later. The competent body of reference is assessing the application. So basically they are, let's say, checking that the tourist accommodation is really complying with the criteria. And once the competent body has approved the application, is awarding the license. The license is a contract that the competent body is signing with the tourist accommodation, allowing the use for of the Ecolabel logo until the expiration date of the criteria. And then, of course, the several steps that not to forget is to communicate about the Ecolabel, because, of course, it's also the duty of the license holders to communicate about their offer in order for consumers to be able to be aware of, and the customers to be aware of the effort that have been done. The Ecolabel fees are different from country to country. We have in any case some general rules that says that application fee is mandatory, and it's between 200 and 2,000 euros. So it's a choice of the competent body to set the amount of the fee. And it's a choice of the competent body whether to charge an annual fee that is maximum, that can be either a flat fee, or a fee calculated on a percentage of sales. And if it is a percentage of sales, it can be maximum the 0.15% of the turnover originated product, and with a maximum of 25,000 euros. There are in any case discounts for micro enterprise, SMEs, and company from developing countries, as well as for company registered in EMAS or in ISO 14021. And as a reminder, there is all the information on our website, in which we are also putting a table that is explaining exactly the different fee in different countries. Now, if we look at the numbers of tourist accommodations with the Ecolabel, so they have now reached the number of 481, and the countries with more license, with more tourist accommodation with the Ecolabel are France with 188, Austria 97, Italy 58, and Spain 53. And if the good news is really that these numbers have been increasing in the past years, and also kept increasing during the COVID times. And this is very reassuring, meaning that there is an interest of the market for the Ecolabel. But at the same time, if you see this graph, you can see there has been a sort of drop in the Ecolabel numbers from 2018 to 2019. And this drop coincides with the timing when the criteria were revised. And when we were trying to understand why there was this drop, if the criteria were set too stringent, or we didn't understand why. So we were a bit questioning around, and we understood that probably the license holders at that time didn't have enough return on the investment done for getting the Ecolabel, in the sense that they were getting the Ecolabel, and then, okay, there was not really a recognition or an added value for having this label. Therefore, that's why we are now focusing our effort on how can we make the Ecolabel more successful, how we can really, in a sense, reward the tourist accommodation that make the effort. And we understood that there are certain needs. First of all, so we really need to provide a good reasons and incentives to apply for the Ecolabel and to reward certified in the tourism sector, because there are so many other labels around, and sometimes the eco-label is a bit lost in between all the others, maybe just because all the others had more marketing resources to allocate, so they are better known, not necessarily because they are better, but just because they invested more in marketing. We need to increase the awareness of the tourist sector as well of consumers. But at the same time, we need to increase uptake to reach a critical mass, because in order to be able to really be visible also on the online booking platform and so on, we need to be many. And of course, there is a need for a joint effort with several stakeholders. So and this is why from the European Commission, we have started several actions. For instance, we are establishing partnership with online booking platforms, not only booking, but online platforms in general. I mentioned here some of them, like Ecotrans, Booking.com, Bidrom, Eticotel, Sustainable First. And I will go into detail just a little bit later. We are also started a dialogue with Expedia Group on how to integrate the Ecolabel in the UNESCO Sustainable Travel Pledge. And very importantly, we have an Ecolabel database that of Ecolabel tourist accommodation that is downloadable from the EU Open Data Portal, that is downloadable for everybody. Of course, these are public data. And so this allows a better exchange of data with all the online platforms. I give an example of the work we are doing with Booking. It's of course a parcours. It's a start of the journey that we have started with them. It's a preliminary work that we hopefully will also give better results. Booking has developed a travel sustainable property badge. It's a sort of little travel bag with a leaf through which they are willing to identify on their website the accommodations that are doing efforts towards sustainability, and also they are identifying some accommodation that have been awarded with some certification schemes that they have chosen, and the Ecolabel is one of them. So this allows when a property is badged with this little travel bag to click on it and to see what are the green efforts that the bag is the tourist accommodation is undertaking, and if it is certified with the Ecolabel, usually it appears. And then, but still, we recognize that this effort is still a preliminary one, because in our opinion, there is not enough recognition of the different, let's say, a meaning of a certification like the Ecolabel that is voluntary, but it's really for the top of the best in class in terms of environmental performance, that sometimes are also put at the same level of other let's say tourist accommodation that are of course starting their journey towards sustainability, but they are at different levels. So we are in an open dialogue with Booking, trying to increase the way and improve the way they are displaying the Ecolabel. We know already that some of their customer already thought about themselves, like if the Ecolabel was not visible as a logo together in the Booking database, they put it in the picture of the description of the hotel, and this is a way that it can be displayed. At the same time, we are working with other platforms, like for instance, Sustainable First, that is not a booking platform, but is a platform that is presenting success stories the world, and is giving for free the possibility to post success stories. And so we have Ecolabel, I think already 5 or 6 success stories mentioned on the website. At the same, they are like other booking sites like Treeway that is working together with some Ecolabels, and Ecolabel, the EU Ecolabel is one of them. This is just to mention, Eticotel is one of the last one we have been started working with. It's a blog for sustainable travels that is posting articles and so on. At the same time, would like to promote Ecolabel tourist accommodation. At the same time, we have other, let's say, activities for the promotion of the Ecolabel. We have also started, so there are meeting presentations at events, articles on social media, articles on Sustain Magazine, for instance, TAIEX events, in order to help an exchange of best practices between countries that are more, let's say, knowledgeable about maybe the Ecolabel and how to promote it, and others that are less. We are also trying to increase the visibility and demand to the green public procurement of the institutions. So to make it possible that whenever we will start traveling again at a certain, now we have just started traveling again for work, but that the staff in the Commission can give preference to Ecolabel hotels while on mission, but at the same time that when we invite participants to meeting, they can preferably choose Ecolabel hotels. In the case of Ecolabel hotels in town, so at the same time we are trying to work on the ground with the local, let's say, in order to increase the offer of Ecolabel hotels. We are creating and we are that should mute the microphone, because otherwise, yeah. And so we are also creating opportunities for funding and supporting actions. We have heard quite recently a very important success stories. For instance, that we have been away by the authorities of the Balearic have set a circular economy strategy, and in case the tourist accommodation are awarded with a Ecolabel, they are exempted from this requirement of the law. So it's a sort of incentivizing the uptake of the Ecolabel, and I think this is a very success stories that we are going to soon post on our website as well. Most importantly, not to forget, is that we have now an ongoing campaign to promote the Ecolabel tourist accommodation, and this campaign is based on a landing page that you can access from this link, in which we are posting several articles, information, and so on. But we are also posting some toolkit material that can be shared and used for social media. It contains video testimonials, mini motion, visuals, and so on. And all the partners interested, all stakeholders, can use this material to communicate about the Ecolabel. We are setting some dates. There is a calendar through which we are aiming at having concerted communication efforts. The next time is the 10th of June. We will communicate from the G Environment accounts of the European Commission, and we will ask also our main stakeholders to communicate around the same date, so that we can multiply the message. And then the Ecolabel gives also the opportunity to participate in relevant initiative of the Commission. There is a possibility to make a commitment along the tourism pathway lines. So in case you would like to increase the uptake the Ecolabel, or increase its visibility, there is a possibility to join the Sustainable Consumption Pledge or the Climate Pact, that are pledging initiatives through which industry can commit and also say the efforts that they will undertake in order to promote and increase the visibility of the Ecolabel. And last but not least, as this year is the 30th anniversary of the Ecolabel launch, an Ecolabel showroom that is a little caravan that is pulled by a bike, and that will travel around Europe in several countries, mainly in the northeast part of Europe, and will be participating in several, let's say, occasions, several events in different countries before coming back to Brussels in October for the World Ecolabel Day. But we will have the adventure of the showroom, and maybe also participate to some of the events. And that is all from me now. So don't hesitate to ask me questions. After the meeting, you will have access to my presentation. At the end of it, I put some links to where you find explanation on the criteria, on the application process, where do you find the campaign landing page, the list of the Ecolabel accommodation, and also the database of Ecolabel accommodation is downloadable from our Open Data portal. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Silvia. Thank you very much for the presentation. I think it was really useful for the SMEs participating to know that things are really get going with eco-labeling, and I think that some words that you use like transparent and the post-COVID are like really focusing on what's going on at the moment and the importance of certain type of certifications. So now I think we can talk to one of the ambassadors of the EU Ecolabel. There are not currently questions, but before giving the floor to Sabina Mancini from Casale Romano, we can wait like a minute to see if there is any question about what we heard. I think the
Elena, if I
Yes.
may
Yes.
act, let's say, like a, a way to convey questions
Yes.
from the companies that are involved in the project, I think it could be interesting for them to understand better how the national contact points work, because for some of the countries included in the project, we have a national contact point, for example, in Italy, which is of course well established and working since many years. For other countries, we experienced some difficulties in understanding how to proceed. For example, in Moldova, there is no national contact point, and the EU help desk addressed us to the Romanian one, for example. But in some other cases, it was not so easy, like for North Macedonia, for example, and we would like to, okay, since this could be, let's say, somehow a difficult step for companies, the ones that are in the CEnTOUR project has the opportunity to rely on national facilitators, but for other companies acting alone outside of the project, maybe could be a barrier. So if you can elaborate a bit more on how it works for countries with no national contact points. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Valentina.
Yes,
Silvia.
yes, as I was explaining, the countries that are not part of the European Economic Area, so for the countries that are not part of the European Economic Area, it's up to the tourist accommodation to choose one of the competent bodies in the European Economic Area. So the address of the competent bodies are all on our website, but if this is a barrier, I mean, if we can maybe facilitate this, so maybe we can ask in case there are difficulties in reaching competent body or in choosing the competent body. We can maybe the good practice could be to send an email to our Ecolabel help desk, and then we will try together with them to see what is the best competent body that can help.
Thank you very much.
Yes, really, really good, because yeah, as you said, one barrier could be choosing, you know, because it could be like time consuming, having to contact different ones and then assess which one is more available at a certain moment. So that would be perfect. Okay, nobody's daring to ask anything at the moment. As Valentina will explain later, in our project in CEnTOUR, we are in the phase where SMEs have been doing a lot of dirty work for assessing the level for the feasibility for the certification. And now they have to decide which will want to go further to the full certification by the end of the project. And looking at all the campaigning and initiatives for, you know, really trusting some return of investment for the EU eco-labeling. Our suggestion is just that doing all the work for collecting data is, you know, really the main part of the job. So they should consider like to exploit at the maximum this effort and get the full certification for having the return on their investment of time. We will update the EU Ecolabel European Commission office on the result through the projects, because we are really, you know, even us, we're really curious on seeing how we can help the SMEs to overcome these sometimes small barriers for the full certification. If there are no other questions at the moment, maybe, Silvia, we can grant the participant the possibility to send emails and we can forward it to them if there's something really stringent to ask later on. Yes. And now, okay, thank you. And now we can, we're really happy to hear the experience of Sabina Mancini from Casale Romano. She is the owner. Casale Romano is a resort located in Sicily near Taormina and has been EU Ecolabel certified since 2012. So she has a long-standing experience. She has an organic farm, and after studies in agricultural sciences and a diversified experience from financial consultancy to alternative energy in agriculture study research, she's now managing the certified accommodation, but she's also vice president of the tourism consortium of Valle dell'Alcantara. So please, Sabina, we are really happy to have you here.
Hi. Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes. You hear me? It's okay.
Yes, yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Hello, good morning to all. My name is Sabina Mancini. I find that love of ecology is anything that you have in your heart. It's not anything that you can have after. My doctor work for
Hi, Sabina.
You don't hear anything? Maybe there's a problem.
Yes. She's... Sabina, can we... As you were fearing, we have some problem with the connection. She is calling us from Canada, so it's the good and the bad of the online conferences.
She's not connected. Oh no, she's yeah. But...
She's talking, but I think she cannot hear us.
Sabina, maybe we can...
Το θέμα εγώ δεν ακούω τίποτα. Έχω πάρει τον ήχο, αλλά...
Sabina, can you hear us? No.
Sabina. You try to contact her on the chat. And maybe we can have Valentina talking before her. Oh.
Yes, Helen, I think that we can
Yes.
change the order of the presentation, but the problem is that
Yes.
Sabina is not hearing us. She is not aware of the
Yes.
problem.
I wrote to her on the chat, but I'll try to contact her somehow.
Okay, maybe she stopped.
Maybe now, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe now she saw your message.
Sabina, can you hear us?
Okay, I'm gonna try to find a solution with her. Writing, maybe we can switch to Valentina now.
Okay. Should I start now?
Yeah, I wanted to introduce briefly who you are. So you are a consultant for sustainability and circularity of business activities with an experience in the field of life cycle assessment, circular economy, and sustainability assessment. After a PhD in environmental sciences, you've been a researcher also at the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. Now you're leading the support program for the EU Ecolabel feasibility assessment and certification of our project, CEnTOUR, and on behalf of the partner Project Arcadia. So yes, please, Valentina, if you can briefly introduce the work we are doing and some consideration that might be useful for all the SMEs. Thank you.
Okay, I hope you can see my screen. I can hear some noise in the background.
Yes,
I hope
we
you can
hear some
me.
noise. If you can switch off your microphone if you're not talking.
Έχει ενδιαφέρον, δεν ακούω τίποτα.
We can hear some Greek.
Ακούω κορίτσι.
Maybe as Andrea may switch microphone of all the participants. Okay, I hope you can hear me now. I will give you just a brief overview of what has been done so far in the CEnTOUR project, especially regarding actions in support to the EU Ecolabel certification of the SMEs participating to the project. Okay, I hope you can see the next slide. Basically, the main actions within the project were to organize some online informative sessions about the EU Ecolabel certification scheme in order to give a first set of information to the participants to the project. And with basic information, I mean discussing about the potential benefits that may come from certification, the presentation of which are the main topics addressed by the mandatory and optional criteria, and some information about how it works, which are the steps to obtain certification. So basically what you saw in the second part, in the middle part of the presentation done by Mrs. Ferratini just some minutes ago. The aim was really to introduce EU Ecolabel certification to the SMEs in the 5 countries of the project, and to follow them and support them with a preliminary feasibility assessment of EU Ecolabel certification for their hospitality structures. So basically, we had some collective discussions looking at the criteria and checking criteria one by one to see how many of them were already fulfilled by the SMEs that declared their interest in potential interest, of course, in certification within the project. These discussions included also the identification of potential links with other CEnTOUR project actions, because I think, and we will see it later, one of the benefits of being in a funded project like this one is that the actions are planned to be integrated one to the other. So, for example, we had a strong action with collection of data regarding qualitative and quantitative assessment within the project. So this was the first step that involved all the SMEs participating to the project for a preliminary assessment of where they stand regarding environmental and social sustainability of their company. And this was, let's say, the first step aimed at the definition of a circular economy strategy. And those activities can be, let's say, can be really useful also for reaching certification, because as you know, the first step is to check how many of the criteria do you already fulfill, which are the gaps that you need to fill in order to reach certification, and how do you stand compared to what we saw are the best in class within the tourist market. So it was really a strong link between the EU Ecolabel certification actions and the actions, the other actions of the project aimed at defining a strategy, preparation of communication documents, but also establishment of collective actions, because some of the actions required by the EU Ecolabel, like agreements for mobility services and so on, may profit from a collective action among companies that are placed in the same country and in the same region. Then, let's say, after the feasibility assessment, we also had some online sessions, again online because of COVID, of course, aimed at supporting the assessment of criteria and the preparation of the application dossier, with the focus on really one by one on companies that were really interested in going on with certification. In addition to this, the project also gives the possibility to have a voucher, so a funding for expert consultancy for the next step. So I mean really the preparation of the dossier, which may have some difficulties or specific topics that need to be addressed by an expert, or may be better addressed by an expert because of lack of time and resources, especially for small companies that would need to dedicate a lot of time in the preparation of the dossier. So we know that this may be again a barrier, and the project gives financial support to be, let's say, followed and supported by experts in the field. Another important point, I think, is the possibility to have discussions among project participants on feasibility, opportunities, challenges. And again, as usual, when you have several companies working with the same aim, comparing experiences and maybe suggesting solutions among one to the other may be a good way to overcome potential problems. So which are the intermediate results so far reached by the project? We are quite satisfied about how it is going, because within the participants, we had around 30 SMEs that declared they're interested in EU Ecolabel. That doesn't mean they will go fully towards certification, but that means that they consider it a valuable tool for communicating their performance, and also a valuable tool for marketing their service. After the first phase, we had active participation to the feasibility assessment phase, so really the screening of criteria by SMEs from 3 countries out of the 5 in the project, which are North Macedonia, Moldova, and Italy. So really, let's say, 2 different situations. We have Italy, which we saw it's really far from the start. So we had a long-standing tradition of certified structures, but still the EU Ecolabel is considered a good opportunity. So there is still potential for improvement and enlarging the set of the list of structures certified in Italy. But we have also a good interest in from Moldova and North Macedonia, which are 2 countries where there is no certified structure yet. Also because, as we said before, they are in a slightly different situation. They don't have a national contact point, so it's a bit more difficult to be introduced to the EU Ecolabel, but also maybe to know the label. So we think that the CEnTOUR project was a good way to promote the message. Regarding how they position compared to the targets, I was happy to see that at least half of the SMEs participating in the feasibility assessment were already able to satisfy most of the mandatory criteria and had a sufficient score for optional ones. So this means from one side that probably we were able to get the best in class, or also that they were good in understanding that the EU Ecolabel is a good way to promote something, to promote an effort already done. So it's a way to communicate in a robust and transparent way that you, as an hotel or a camping site, put some effort in the past to improve your sustainability performance, and you want to communicate to your customer where do you position in the international market. So those SMEs are currently considering the possibility to apply for certification. As far as I know, 3 of them from Italy are already working at the preparation of the application dossier, or at least are really going more deeply into the criteria to see how many of them are already satisfied and which could be the actions needed to reach 100% compliance and to go for certification. Sorry. Regarding the main take-home messages from the experience that we had so far, as I said before, we understood that it's quite important to have a national contact point, or at least, as Silvia was saying, to be in direct contact with the EU help desk. So to have someone to get to put questions and to get answers in order to go on and not being stuck with maybe with problems that maybe could be small but can be also a barrier to reaching certification. I would like to stress the role of national circular economy facilitators that are part of the project, because we understood that personal interaction with the companies is really important. Some of them didn't reply at the beginning, but then they were when the SMEs were put in contact with national facilitators, maybe also speaking the same language and acting as translator of English documents, they were really more really facilitated to go on to understand the process and to understand potential benefits for them. So really, it's a good way. It's a good thing that in the project we have national facilitators as intermediary. Another point that we got from the experience is that the current international situation, and I mean from the social but also economic point of view, may influence the decision about going or not going to a full certification, because some of the companies, for example, raised doubts about the opportunity to sustain some costs for certification. As was said before, probably they don't see the trade-off between cost and potential benefits. And with cost, I mean the cost of certification itself, but which probably are not so high in the countries in which we are working, but also the cost for implementing actions needed to satisfy the criteria. And for example, some of the companies from Italy raised doubts about the need to switch from the current electricity provider to 100% green certified ones, renewable one, because they said, okay, it's already a period in which energy costs has raised so much, and we are not sure we would be able to afford these additional costs. Regarding this, may be interesting what Silvia said before, that implementing the actions may also be a good way to put in place energy saving measures, so also economic savings in the long term. In addition, being in a funded project like the CEnTOUR may help to reduce costs, because from one side, the companies had direct support within the project, so they didn't have to pay for a consultant for the preliminary assessment phase, and they have the opportunity to receive funding for paying a consultant for the preparation of the dossier, but also for the feasibility assessment, the technical feasibility assessment of implementing the improvement actions that may be needed to fulfill 100% of criteria. Finally, last but not least, from my point of view, as always in networking project, the discussion and cooperation among SMEs really may have to find common solutions, because we saw that most of them had the same problems, at least within the same country. And so discussing among them and discussing with the facilitators really helped to find common solutions, or at least to better understand how to overcome the problems. And I think this is all from my side.
Okay, thank you very much, Valentina. Yes, for us it's very important to understand how we can support the whole certification system and processes, especially for like small and micro enterprises. So this is why one step to toward the end of bettering the system. Okay, Sabina was able to re-enter the meeting, and we will try to have the speech again, first with the video. Maybe she will have to switch off the video to ease the connection. I see that Silvia is still with us, and still 5 minutes. This is really nice. Thank you, Silvia. And I invite all the SMEs again to write any question they may have towards Silvia or towards the Valentina equally. So, Sabina, if you want to start.
Ok, mi sentite? No, don't tell me. Mi sentite?
Sì,
Sì, sì.
ti sentiamo.
Ok, perfetto. Non mi vedete, ma mi sentite, va bene. Okay.
Perfetto, grazie.
Okay, good morning to all. It's better that you don't see me. I'm not interesting. I'm an old lady. I think that love for ecology is anything that in my mind was for
Sabina, can you hear us?
in another way. And I decided to be a financial advisor. But also my life is a little circular as a new economy. And after 20 years, we had the old farm of my family, and we made and we do management this farm. This farm had a grand depot and a very nice old home of 1889. And so we decided with my husband to transform this cider in a new building. And this new building was made with criteria, with normal criteria.
Okay.
Okay. With total eco-friendly criteria. While for me was very important what I studied is to build my new hotel in this manner. After 4 years, I meet casually Ecolabel and the Ecolabel certification, because I live in 3 parks: Etna Park, Valle Alcantara River Park, and Nebody Park. And so the community of the park give me the possibility to open a Ecolabel certification with the help of expert. And it was very nice to study with them, to have this certification. And it was also funny when it comes, the inspector of Ecolabel said, but you have all the criteria. Why? Why what I had the ecological idea to build in this manner, and why I think that be ecological is also important to save money. The same that said Silvia in his presentation. When you are friendly, eco-friendly, you can save much money in a way, in minor tax, in water, you pay less, and also and particularly on energy. Energy is a main cost in a Ecolabel touristic activity, and you in this manner you spare very good and much money. And so it's a second, and so I became Ecolabel certificate hotel, and I was very happy. And in a reunion in Bruxelles, at the Comité Opéré, I meet much of my shareholders partner in France, Austria, and Belgium. And it was very interesting to know what our problem with our certification was the same problem of them, or the while it's not visibility. Another thing that Elena and Sylvia now working since the last years. We have not enough visibility. The great tourist association give us not the possibility to be better, not better, to have a visibility that's different as the other. And so it's very hard for us to have an identity. But with my friends, we work about. It's also very important to know that normally when you are a rural tourism in Italy, in French, in Austria, you have also an organic farm. That is anything that for me was very nice to know when I meet my colleagues. While for us, eco must be go with organic or with a good kilometer enough nutrition. While it's impossible that you have ecological hotel without the other wine. And then another important thing was that to reach the mass of person. That's it's I think the main goal that we must do in the next future.
So, yeah.
Sì, mi sentite ancora? Ok, avevo il
Yes,
dubbio che non
yes,
c'era.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
No, no.
Yeah.
Everything
And then so
is
and
fine.
then yeah. And then what I think that it's beautiful in our Ecolabel hotels is that that the information are not only to the guests, but also to the staff. You create in your work an ecological idea to work ecological. And it's not simple. While normally we are not, nobody of us have ecological mind, and it's difficult to change your mind after much years. And so it's nice also to help our staff to grow in this line. So at the end, I will explain only this. Is to have a Ecolabel certification is very good for economic side, but also for yourself, because you grow always and you search solution to be your hotel always more eco-friendly. It's good for guests, because the guests come and they ask you why I have not 7i, why I have not plastic things in my hotel. And then you must explain why these things are not in your hotel. And when I use much circular economy, so I don't throw anything, and I take in all my furniture a new life. Maybe that much person, they don't understanding that I use circular economy. They think that I have no money to buy new. And so that it's a fight that we and my staff make every day to changing the mind and bring all together to a new ecological life. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabina. Maybe try to switch on the video again so we can see you at least at the end of your speech. Thank you very much. It was really interesting. I think you highlighted again the importance of networking and having direct contact with all the stakeholders involved in sustainability and sustainability through the Ecolabel certification. And also there is a matter of changing a bit the mindset. So first you have some economic returns from the certification, and in the long term you change your mindset, which is something that gives you the possibility to develop new solution all the time. It would be really nice if some of our to be certified or maybe to be certified SMEs would like to ask you any question, or maybe some facilitators that are present. Because I think, again, like for Silvia, it's a really good chance to exchange views on the process of certification. Of course, you started already from a good starting point, because you had the idea of doing a completely eco-friendly building from the beginning. But as you mentioned, sometimes the SMEs have some sustainability assets that they don't know they have. So it's important to measure them, to assess the, you know, all the criteria, because they might be actually doing something good and they're not aware of it. So certification also bring out, also besides changing the mindset, brings out what's already good in the business. So yes, we have one request from Arcera Agriturismo. Please. Thank you very much.
Morning. Can you hear me? I don't know.
Yes,
okay.
You can. Yes.
Thank you very much, Sabina, for your testimonial, to be testimonial. The question is how you manage, how you communicate to your guests immediately where they arrive. Where we have small hotels and also agriturismo, and I know when they arrive, I describe the environmental and the art and the farm. And in this point, maybe what is your strategy? Maybe you have something already prepared to give, or you explain by your voice your strategy, and then you will tell them in the room. You will find other consideration, or for any other question, please ask to the staff. What is your strategy at the end to communicate?
Yes, our strategy was to, at the beginning, when you meet the people, it's very important that they have the sensation that you have an agriturismo as mine, so you're understanding. We have a beautiful surrounding, and so it's very important that they now that they are arriving in a place that it's different of all the other one. And this and so it's different also, as I said, you first the furniture, that it's not all new, because you must not new bad, but no understanding circular economy, and they must understand that they are in eco-friendly hotel, and in eco-friendly hotel, Ecolabel hotel is different of the other one. That it's in the beginning. Sometimes, but you cannot, they come in the night, or you can explain not immediately. So in all the rooms are a little summary of the different criteria that we apply: water, waste, energy. We explain that the conditioner is better to take a minimum, that it's the same, or when you are going out, please check out the lights, and so on. Is a little explaining tester in the rooms, okay? But it's not so important for the people that are arriving. It's important that we work together to minimize the that is not so much important that agriturismo, ecological, organic farm is important, and that we stakeholder, we must work together to amplify this, in particular in our beautiful Italy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, the theme of 0 kilometers products is a very sensitive one for the SMEs, and it's probably something some of them will focus on. So it's important to hear that it's been an important factor for your business as well. we wait for any other question that may arise. So Sabine, I kill some time. I ask you, so you witnessed the evolution also of the EU Ecolabel, and your testimonial also of the downturn of the previous phase, and the constant uprising of the application. Do you find useful to have other accommodation there? Are you able certified in your area? Are you trying to assess if there are like other in your area that are EU label certified? Is it something that could be relevant for you?
No, it's a problem. It's not relevant. And another great problem is we speak about with Silvia much years ago, is that we have not a logo in the legenda. The logo was made in the photo of our website, also in booking. And that is not correct for me, because have you a pool or a sauna are eco-friendly, and to have the possibility of a logo on the main page for me is very important, and it doesn't exist, and I don't know why. And I had a bad experience also with Expedia, when I don't know this new project, but the old project was you must go in a list of eco-friendly hotel, and you must the permit to be there. And I am Ecolabel, and Ecolabel is very hard to have. It's not a simple way. It's a very good and European brand, and I don't had it for more than 1 year. Also, when I answered to the test that to the application that they sent me, and this I don't find correct now, because Ecolabel is Europe and not anything else. So I hope that Valentina and Silvia now work together to give more importance. Nobody in my area of Taormina, now that I am Ecolabel, and not the town, not the city, not the land, and it's a pity, because it's a great brand, no? And so I know a brand is nothing when it's not conosciuto, what is famous, no? And yes. That it's what in my little I try to change, but I'm little. So I hope in your life help.
Yes, very clear. That's why we are all moving more to having like destination that are also that give importance to the invisibility to the certification, because tourism is based on destination, not probably on single businesses. And so that's the way the European Commission is going anyway. So things will certainly improve also in that respect very shortly.
Yeah. I hope. I am happy.
Yeah, they are long processes, they are slow because they involve so many, so many actors, but the direction is already very clear. Okay, Stratis is asking if this event is going to be posted on any site. Yes, it will be public. Also the registration, we will see, in which form, and but you can certainly access it through our website, which is circulartourism.eu, and we also have a community of practice platform there with some interesting forums that we are going to revise in the next week, so they will be even more accessible and user-friendly. And the platform you find under resources in the website is a place where we hope you will be able to find a lot of information on circular economy for tourism businesses and for the tourism system. So there will be a section dedicated to external resources, and there will be a section dedicated to all our internal result and all the resources that we want to make available to tourism SMEs. So please visit and register to the forums. Is also like a way to get in contact with other SMEs like Casale Romano and all the other SMEs, like also in different countries that might have, you know, similar problems and a possible solution for your business. And the registration
can I
is
add
really easy.
Just something about this? We can't. We have the registration of the event. We can put on the website in a free part, but only in the part where can enter who is registered. So as you said, to Stratis, I think.
Yes.
He has to register, enter the forum, and there he will find the registration of the event of today.
Yes, perfect, Andrea, thank you. I just put the website in the chat, so you can have a direct access from there. Okay.
Elena, if
Yes.
you don't mind, I just have
Yes, please,
one
Diana.
question. Yes, and first of all, thank you so much, Ms. Sabina, about sharing your experience and already the impact of the Ecolabel in your organization. And I'm a facilitator in the CEnTOUR project in Moldova. And yes, we are the country that we understand a lot how many benefits from the Ecolabel in the organization of tourism sector. But at the same time, I'm thinking, and we have many companies that already implement like circular economy regarding the products, local products. First of all, they are growing their own vegetables, for example, fruits, but on the other side, they are working with local farmers that they use seasonal products. And here my question would be how the Ecolabel will refer to this, that they are working with local farmers, but some of them, they're very small and maybe they don't have the certification of the quality of the product. And how, if you have some challenges like this, how we can advise our local companies to work with?
I live in a beautiful valley. As you're in Moldova, my best friends of my daughter come from Moldova. And I must say that we are in 8 kilometers from Termina, but it's a rural zone where there are all people product self. So fish, we have at the Sea of Termina, not in the valley, but we have meat of local animals. We have cheese of goat, and so that the father have these animals and the daughter transform it. And so I think bread we make with wood oven. And so wood every day and a wood oven bread. So in these things, I think in our rural destination, it's not necessary to have a certification. But the certification is a woman that stand up in the morning and bring wood in an oven and make bread in this manner, not electrical, ta-ta-ta, in 10 minutes you are ready. Is not certificable, all the animals that live on the mountain around me. And so I think that the certification of this product come immediately. Also when are not organic. I am organic, so as you, we produced all vegetable, orange and walnuts, figs, all. But outside of my farm, it's logged that all it's not be. It's necessary to be organic. It's important the way that you produced anything. And the way
Okay.
in our rural is so natural. They don't eat chemical things, our animals. They eat our grass in my farm, but also in the wind, in the summer, in the Mount Etna. And so it's a rural system, I think, that certificate that our eating is different as Termina eating. The authors of Termina, they don't come here in 8 kilometers. They buy from the great center, that great center of food, no? And I don't understand this, no? But in 8 kilometers, you have all natural product, and natural in this manner is the same as certificate for me.
Okay, I got it. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you to
This
you.
is more clear. Thank
Come
you.
and visit me.
Sure.
And I come to you and we change your experience.
For sure. This is more impactful for the SMEs when we are doing B2Bs.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's actually a very beautiful idea. Okay. We'd really love to, hear any other doubt or consideration or just any idea you might have in mind. We just repeat that yes, the video will be accessible through our community of practice platform through the CEnTOUR website, which is circulartourism.eu. Okay, we don't have any other question. Are you sure?
Elena, if I may ask, if if some of the companies participating to the project is willing just to give an opinion about what they think about the EU Ecolabel, if they think it's applicable to them, which are their reasoning? Are they really thinking that they will go for certification or not? And if not, why? And which could be the way to help them to go for certification, or if they consider that is not relevant for them? I don't know if someone would like to contribute.
Yes, what is actually your main concern about the certification, and if today you found some answer to it?
Well, if I may continue. Okay, so from the point of view of SMEs, and as I'm working with them as facilitator, I would say that this is like a fundamental start of managing a business, because here in the Ecolabel, first of all, they understand and they see what's the main points that they have to follow in the organization regarding the staff, for example, training and how to work with clients, with guests, and how to organize in such a way that you can have some benefits, economic benefits at the end. And this tool that we have through Ecolabel with feasibility study, first of all, they understand at the moment what is their level of evaluation, to say what they have to improve. And as this project is like a start for them in a way to think differently and even to organize somehow a new business model. And yes, we have good impressions about this, and we are working with some of the companies that really understand the benefits of this this tool, and they are starting to ask more questions, and we are working with them more deeply. So I think Ecolabel soon will be in Moldova, like at least to have a national point to develop of experts that can help them more of them. So This is the feedback.
Tatiana, I can hear you badly now. I don't know if it's everyone, but
Sorry.
will
Now it's better?
yes,
Good.
for me.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been my problem as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Yes. Yeah, it's important to stress that, it's not a marketing campaign. Is really the EU Ecolabel is an international recognized certification, and it's important that the marketing on sustainability is based on reliable and transparent tools like this one, because of course the main risk is to have tools that are not able to prove what they actually doing. So the obvious positive side of the EU eco-labeling is that is really transparent, is always developing. The criteria changes all the time to adapt to the market, but they still grant that reliability that is important for any tool that is supporting the sustainability of the sector. Yes, please, Ombretta from Arcera Agritourism.
Sorry, because I'm the one every time I ask and tell. I'm sorry.
Thank you for that.
But I have the only problem that I have, and also my colleague, it's we already understand a big part of the problem, but we are a little bit afraid concerning the timing of the realization of all the part concerning for obtain this Ecolabel, or to turn our inspiration to make some other works concerning the possibilities to study the solution for our farm. The point is, will be for us really important to have a schedule, a timing in which it's already written within the 20th of August, you should produce this and that. In other case, you have to perform this other document, because now the season is starting. Thanks God we have guests, and the time will be really reduced, and we are afraid are not in time to produce the documents that are needed. And the other problem is already the contract that we have with the energy, for the energy, that we think that we are not able to jump this problem, and we are working to solve it. But what I want to ask, if it's possible to have a small guide with the timing of all the action that we must do, and the time it's important for us to maybe work on it, and are not afraid to are not in time to perform the right document at the right time.
Absolutely, that is part of the support. So we will have scheduling the fit with the CEnTOUR project, of course. So, if you will be able to perform the process within the time of the project. And it's perfectly understandable also to fit with the high season.
Yes, that basically was the main reason why we didn't push in this period, but apparently it's not the right way to proceed. So we will adjust the planning. Please, Elena, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the only real binding deadline is if you want to obtain certification funded by the project. With funded, I mean paying a potential consultant with it, but with the project funding, you need to obtain certification before the end of the project, right?
Yes,
Then,
exactly.
then for the rest, it's quite open.
Yes.
But if you want, we can reason together on how much time is needed for each phase.
Yes,
So
exactly.
to give you an overview of when you need to start to be sure that you will obtain certification within the end of the project.
Yes, I think that is actually what she was asking for. We can add with the different criteria, and we are aware of the problem with the energy suppliers. So if we can help in lobbying also for that, we understand this administrative, problem with the current regulation you're facing. So that's perfectly understandable. The idea that you are able anyway to exploit all the work you're doing with the data collection, so that the data that you're using can be used for your submission.
Thank you.
Yes, but if having if we understand right, having a more detailed scheduling linked to all the remaining action to get the certification, right? Yeah,
Yes, this is the point. The point is to understand if we have to perform other documents and in which time we have to perform it, because we have a small farm, but we have a lot of job to do.
Yes.
And we don't want to do a rush or to spoil everything because we don't have the time.
No, perfect. This is exactly why within the project actions, you have the possibility to pay for a consultant to help you on this, because unfortunately, this is not possible directly within the project. So I cannot follow one by one all the companies, but of course, I'm here, we are all here. And the next step in your case would be, let's say, for you and the other Italian company which has the same problem with the electricity, let's say, service. I saw this morning that she wrote again to the national contact point to obtain an answer on this. We agreed that if you don't get an answer, let's say by the end of next week, I will contact directly the European help desk and the responsible for tourism to have a final answer on this and to understand if we can proceed or not. If we can proceed, the next step is basically to find a consultant to follow you in the preparation of the dossier, and then you can decide by yourself when to start working on it, because okay, in agreement with the consultant, but I think it's not such a long journey since now, because you already did a lot of the work that is needed. You just is not so easy as maybe Sabina may tell you, but you have to collect the document. But the screening of the criteria and the verification of fulfillment and discussion about how to prove compliance, we already did it. So it's a matter of finding someone really to take you step by step and just to ease your work of collecting documents, which I know may be time consuming and resource consuming. But the other, let's say, the positive side of the thing is that you and other companies are located in the same country, by cluster, I would say. Some in Italy, some in Moldova, some in North Macedonia. So if we are able to find the same consultant for at least the companies from the same country, I think it's better, it's more efficient, if you agree, of course, because it's up to you to choose the one, but maybe can help really to optimize the time, because you can prepare together the communication documents, of course, adapting them to your reality, but you could have a common scheme to proceed. And this can save time, I think.
Yeah, the thing is that you, through the project, you already done a lot of work that help you also to assess whether, you know, it's how far you are from the certification. So now you are like in a place where, after contacting you know, some consultants and assessing which is the best one for the job, they can take you really to the final steps, and you still have like some time to go. So, you know, the time is feasible, except for like problems that might arise, of course. But, you know, you already collected a lot of information that usually are not available to consultants when they start the Ecolabel certification process.
Excuse me, Elena, I will explain anything that maybe it was a bad idea. Okay, I had this great love for ecology, but for my friend of Archera, it's not so easy to have this criteria. When you have you will change, you can change. The criteria are much, but when you, I said you make choice of life, you're changing your life, and when you think what happened after is better, and so what it's difficult now, it was also for me much. It's not but are little things that give to our activity a better position. No? I forgot to say that we are after COVID. No? COVID for us was terrible. No? Money was an economic disaster. No? But I think that this disaster give us a possibility with Ecolabel to have more visibility. It's bad to say, but it's true. And when you have a consultant nearby, and Valentina, this is a very good thing because I had two. And I must say that when we help with the other stakeholders of tourism, with the consulting help, also online, but a presence is very good to arrive at where we will arrive.
Yeah, if I may add, the good news is that Archera Agriturismo already fulfills all the criteria except for the one on electricity. So once we solve this, there's no other action to put in place, if I remember correctly. You were well positioned, so that's why I think it's really a good opportunity. The point is, yes, to solve the problem on electricity and to find a common solution with the national contact point if possible, and then of course to collect all the documents for the dossier. But I think really it would be a pity not to go on. Of course, if you're interested. As Elena said, we are not marketing Ecolabel for any other reason than for because we think it's a good way to promote your company, and that's it.
So it's good that you, Ombretta, it's good that you're planning that so well, your business, and but actually you really done already really a large work for the certification to a large extent. So really well done.
I do my best.
You did your best. You did. You did.
You did. You already did, exactly.
Did it.
Good. Yeah, we just you know, we really hope we can solve this problem with the electricity provider, because this is like two disasters matching, the earthquake and the COVID, and it's difficult to navigate with all the regulation that each disaster brings to us. But you know, really hope we can solve that. it's good because also one other SMEs from Italy found interesting the idea of having a common consultant. And yes, that could be like another added value from the project, because you have the opportunity to, you know, get a good deal, simply said, to get a good deal for a group of SMEs. One of the main aspect of participating in European project is really having the possibility to network, and we hope that you can maintain the network also beyond the project. We will try to, you know, make available the instruments to maintaining these networks formally and informally. Because experience says that it's really important to have the opportunity to exchange views to find the, you know, the right solution, as you experienced today also with Sabina, having an exchange with more mature businesses in specific aspects, but also with businesses that are at the same stage as you for any circular economy innovation. And so it really is not just a claim that networking is fundamental.
Yes, I find also that networking is fundamental. After this time in Brussels, I had for 2-3 years contact with the stakeholder of Ecolabel brand in French and Belgium. It was very interesting because we share information. So I hope that after this meeting is possible with Italian, but also with outside of Italy, Greek, Spanish, have a network where we change our information and also ideas.
Perfect. We hope that the platform, the CEnTOUR platform, will be able to do it. We will also develop some partnership, country-based, that, you know, especially for finding cross-sectoral solution linked to circular economy. So will be like a further step for maintaining some, like the tourism pathway. They ask businesses to pledge the intention to circular economy and sustainability. So the important thing is that network are, you know, working well and that are easy to access. Okay, we reached the end of our conference. The communication channels remain open, so please use the website, the platform, and you can contact directly us directly through all the country-based contacts there. If you are from outside the project, of course, if you are one of our participating SMEs, you have your facilitator at disposal for any communication. Silvia Ferratini said that we can send them any specific question, but anyway, we have like the communication open with them for anything that is beyond the contact points. We hope we will overcome any doubts that you have about the certification or the feasibility, and you can make the most out of the work you've done so far. And also we invite you to visit the website to have the information about our next conferences and webinars that will be focusing on our theme priorities like plastic reduction, and food waste reduction and collaborative consumption practices in the tourism sector. So we'll have like a schedule calendar going from here to up to March 2023. And we hope you found this conference interesting, and you found equally interesting the future ones. Really, thank you for being with us. Thank you for your attention, and see you next time.